We are now recording. All right. What is up? It's your boy jonni.shreve. I have BB promos to tell like it is. So we're just gonna do a questionnaire like this. I'm gonna try this thing out because we're getting to the podcast stuff. So nonetheless, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Also, guys, grab that ebook. The ebook is out right now. The Ultimate Push-Pull Legs Training ebook is out. And it's amazing. Remember, guys, I just want to put this out there. The first 100 people that get the book will have a lifetime access to the book and all the upgrades. So, like, we have a private playlist on YouTube. The exercise directly will be updated. The training plans inside will be updated. So a lot of those things will be updated, upgraded, and you'll have a lifetime access to that ebook. The first 100 people. After that, we're just adding another $7.99 for an annual fee, a yearly fee. That'll give you lifetime access to that book. We're just basically going to make this book a platform in the end. We're just basically going to keep building it, build the database, and give you guys as much info as I can outside of my actually coaching. So, having said that, nonetheless, let's get this thing started. We're going to do a Q&A. Get this thing going, man. Trying to do this thing, just kind of get my feet wet with this whole mic thing, and the mic being here, and we got the background, the nice, Noel Dazel look in the background and stuff. We're doing good. All right. I'm gonna read these off, and we're just gonna take our time with these questions here. Look at that, Noel Dazel just pops right up. The man is everywhere. He's everywhere. All right, here we go. Question. We're going to run through all these questions. If I butcher your name, my bad. But we're just going to go through this. Let me see. From Sid Hartha Timizlizna. Jesus. Yo, my bad. My friend's left arm is way stronger than his right arm. And when he is bench pressing, you can really tell that his left arm is way stronger. Do you have any advice or tips for him? Well, say this. I'm going to say switch it up. I was joking. Here's a good advice I would do. So for me, some of you guys have picked out that my right bicep is a little bit smaller than my left bicep. And my right side is actually a little bit weaker than my left side, which is crazy because I always get injured on the right side, which is nuts. Either way, what you want to do is a lot more unilateral movements, right? So if you're doing, dumbbell bench, whether it be an incline flat bench or whatever, I would just do, I would add in unilateral movements, meaning like one side at a time. So, you could do, incline dumbbells, whatever, hit this arm first and then hit this arm, or literally just have one arm at a time do it. You get a lot of bang for your buck out of that. Some core activation, some stability as well with that, and that'll help out. Now, again, I would just suggest first going back to the inception of all this, trying to see what actually started everything at the beginning, and then go see a physiotherapist first. Like like some of you guys ask me, like, hey, what should I do? I'm not a physiotherapist. I know what to do post physio. So once you're done, once you're cleared by the physiotherapist, I know what to do after that. But when it comes to actually physiotherapy, I would say for the most part, make sure you're going to a physiotherapist just to check and see what's going on. Then you can actually attack it and make sure that it's not just I have a weak right or left arm. It could be something else that's that's taking away from that. So that would be my advice. Would be do more. I'm doing a podcast. Man, get out of here. Jesus, gotta turn that off after. I messaged him back. I'm supposed to trade my iPad in for another iPad, which is dope. So anyway, so hopefully that answers the question. Next one from Duck Chuck Wiser for the wear. I don't know that's his name. Johnny, you are an excellent communicator. I know you will be awesome because you already are. Thank you. Appreciate that, man. Hey, like I said, you guys are making this, making my dreams come true. And through this, I hope to help you guys achieve your goals and achieve your dreams. If I can just help push and motivate somebody to do, what they love to do. Because most of the time you think about it, most people aren't. You know what I mean? Like when you sit back and look and I asked a friend the other day. I'm like, I was talking to a friend of mine, and they're saying, it's really cool you're doing what you're doing, this and that. And I was like, yo, do you like if you could pick something right now that you want to do and that you get paid, the dollar you want to get paid for doing what you want to do and what you love to do, is that happening right now? And she's like, no, I would love to do this. She's like, I'd love to like write a book, write a, like what do you call them? Like fantasy novels, or I don't know, a book. She wants to write a book, fairy tale book, something like that with, fairies and stuff. And I'm like, why not? Well, she reads literally reads a book a day almost. I'm like, well, you're reading so much of everybody else's stuff. Why don't you try and do your own? Because you probably got all that knowledge anyway, So it's like, ask yourself the question, are you doing what you love to do? And if you're not doing what you love to do, how can you find a way to do those things? I know you can't just just up and leave and like, boom, I'm just going to start chasing dreams and then, put down the dollars that you're getting in right now, because you have to have some kind of financial fuel to fuel your dreams until your dreams can fuel you. But again, just sit back and just ask yourself, are you doing what you want to do and what you love to do? And if you're not, there's nothing wrong with trying to get there, right? At all. Take the risk. And if it doesn't work out, hey, guess what? You can go back and get another job. It's not like you can't, it's not like it's not there or possible for you to get there. Anyway, let's go to Mr. Man, I can't read. I'm saying Mr. Tien Gonzalez 1CL. What's your advice for someone that can't balance training with a job that goes from very labor intensive on some days to pretty chill other days? I have trouble getting to the gym because of this. Thanks for the advice. Keep training. So I have trained a lot of laborers, and it always runs into the issue of like, where do I use my energy the most? Because, if you're working like that, 10-hour day, whatever, and you're doing really hard labor, well, you got to think about your goals. Number one, like, what are your actual physical goals? So if your physical goals are just to get in shape and be in shape, then your gym trips don't have to be as intense, because, well, I mean, let's be serious. You're already doing that right now. Like your overall, like I know some guys that work steady. You guys, one of my clients, and my friend of mine, Dean, he's working all the time. When we prepped for the show, I literally gave him like the most minimal amount of like cardio, and training was very, he trained his ass off, but it was scheduled, right? So you have to, number one, like get the days that you can actually train. Make those days of train the days you can actually put your everything into those days. And then when the best optimal time to actually train, when you have a labor job, I find that the morning is the best time. Because at the end of the day, like I've done some labor, and at the end of the day, I'm not trying to lift anybody's weights after lifting, whatever you're lifting, whether it's, if you're a bricklayer, plumber, roofer, whatever, like you don't want to end up going to the gym after. And if you do, man, good for you. Like that's just the willpower. But it comes down to just scheduling, what can you do? Schedule out your week. If you're working Monday to Friday, 7 to 3 or 7 to 4 or whatever, then try and find, I would say the beginning of the week, put your days in the beginning of the week, because at the end of the week, you're going to be really tired. And those days that you have off a couple of days, then you can actually put a little more of those days. But my best advice would be to just schedule the days that you can, make realistic expectations for yourself to be in the gym. You might not be able to go to the gym for 2 hours. I mean, you don't need to anyway, but 45 minutes is good enough. 45, Dorian Yates trained for 7 Olympias at, doing 45-minute workouts. So let's just be serious. What our goals are is to look good, be healthy. You know what I'm saying? That's it. So let's just make sure the goals are, are realistic and they don't really contradict what you're doing as on a day-to-day basis, being, a working person. So that's what I don't know if that answers your question, but that would be the best advice I would give, is that. So schedule your week. Find the times what's the best optimal for you. I would say morning is the best time to train. And you got to take into consideration, you're lifting stuff all day long. How hard is your job? If you're lifting a bunch of stuff all day, then, your overall gym activity doesn't have to be as strenuous as, say, someone who doesn't have a 6 day a week labor job. Let's go to this one. Dano. What up, Day? Sorry, Dano. When would you incorporate shoulder workouts for a push-pull split? And your favorite shoulder exercise? Thanks. Grab my book, man. Almost like cookbook. Grab my book. I actually put in the ebook. I put the the push-pull legs programmed together so you can get the most benefit out of training each muscle group twice a week. And like, how am I supposed to do that if I got chest day on one day and shoulders on the other day? Well, I combined it. So my first push day is my priority day for me, which is my chest day. So in my chest movements, I'm going to have chest as my primary openers, and then I'll have a shoulder pressing movement in there, as well as combining, some shoulder accessory work with, supersetting that with your chest accessory work. So doing like lateral raises, with, flies and whatnot. And then on your next push day, which you're going to emphasize your shoulders, right? Your shoulders are going to be your primary openers, and you have like maybe like a high incline chest in there to help, work that, still working the chest, but still working the anterior head of your delts. So that's the best way to do it. But if you have any issues with that at all, and you might not know what level of training you're at, I would suggest getting that ebook. The Push-Pull Legs Training ebook is out right now on jonni.shreve.com. Get it right now. Get it. And you get lifetime access to all the upgrades and updates for that plan and so forth. All right, let's keep the next one. Hope I answered the question. I want somebody else to read the answers. No one in the reply said buy his book, eh? Come on, y'all. Buy my book. Just joking. Let's keep going down here. David Parker, do you think walking 5 to 7 times a week at a moderate pace is enough cardio, or should more intense sessions such as hour-long bike rides or incline walks be implemented too? Also, favorite lift. We'll start with my favorite lift. My favorite actual lift, healthy, would be sumos, because I do love doing sumo deadlifts. I love the whole speed of the movement. I love it. And the bang for the buck for everything it does, cover hamstrings, back, legs, adductors, glutes, all those things. So I love that movement. I would say it's my favorite. So when it comes to again, it comes back to our goals. If you're a bodybuilder and you're trying to go on stage and you're walking 7 days a week, for me, I can't really count that as much, because I don't know if you're walking on a flat surface, if you're walking downhill, how slow you're walking, how fast you're walking, is your heart rate sustained at a certain rate the entire time. So there's so many other variables when it comes to, your cardio output and whatnot, or your cardio activity. So when I look at, should you do more? Now, again, if we're talking about you're just trying to be in shape and, you want to lose some fat, put on some lean muscle tissue and just be active, walking 5 to 7 days a week is more than enough, 100%. Now, I would just say, have like some kind of a heart rate monitor, a good one that you can actually track, and make sure that that the intensity is high enough for it to be able to give you a benefit and all. Like if you're walking, no matter what, like if you're walking uphill, down, it doesn't matter. If you're walking, you're burning calories. It's just the rate or the amount of calories that you actually want to burn. That's the biggest thing. So if you're looking at burning the most amount of calories, I would say get your ass on some kind of a machine that you can, control the variables. Like you control how hard or intense it's going. You can control the incline or the intensity, or whatever the difficulty of that machine or whatever. So I would definitely, look into that. But if it's just like, if you're just, if you're doing a good walk, did you mention how long you're walking? Let me see, 5 to 7 days a week. So I don't know how long you're walking. So if you're walking 5 to 7 days a week and you're walking for an hour each time, chill out. You're good. Don't worry about anything else. If you like walking, that's fine. For those guys who I coach that are, bodybuilding and, they're like, yay, I walk my dog. Is that good enough for cardio? I'm like, no, but continue to walk your dog. That will be like your extra. So when it comes to actually doing the cardio itself, we know that we can control that environment itself. You can't control the outdoor environment when it comes to, where you're, you can control where you're walking, but you can't really, control how, hard you're walking. You can, but you don't and can't really see it unless you're wearing, like I said, a heart rate monitor or something like that. And let's be serious. When we're walking outside, we get a little tired. We're going to kind of like, at least when you're walking on a treadmill, if you put your hands up and hold on for a second, you're still moving your feet. Like sometimes you might just slow right down and just stop moving when you're walking outside. So I would say what you're doing is plenty enough. And again, if you want to make it a little more intense, if you want to burn more and you don't know how hard you are actually walking, I would suggest, maybe split it up. Maybe do 3 days a week cardio in the gym, some kind of cardio machine, and then the rest of those days continue with your walking. Biggie Cheese. What up, Biggie Cheese? Thoughts on supplements like testosterone and ectesterone? I heard of both of them. I'm just not trying to enunciate that. My thoughts on it. I've been in this industry for like a decade when it comes to supplement side of everything. The nutrition, the supplementation side of this whole game. And I've watched so many different products come in and out that are trying to duplicate the effects of steroids. Let's just be serious. A lot of the, if not most, supplements that are out there are to give you that, edge, that legal edge. And testosterone is one of those things where I gotta see it longer for me to see if it actually does what it says it does. Studies are saying that it does what it does. I've heard things like, it's, reading up on it too, it's like almost like taking like 2 milligrams of Anavar almost, like that strength, which is not that much at all. But, I would say, like, here's my thing. If it's going to give you a 1% advantage, if it's going to give you a 1% legal advantage, I'm going to take that advantage. I'm just going to do it. That's just me when it comes down to it. If I can have some kind of an edge, like legitimate, like if this says like, hey, if I take testosterone or whatever, and it's going to give me 1 or 2%, more, output in the gym, I'm going to take it. Right. So, it does have its benefits, but like I said, we got to just watch this thing go and, get some more feedback from some athletes. Like I would try it, but like I said, like it's kind of, for me, it's like I'm on a TRT, so I don't know how much more it's going to do for me, being on the real deal and whatnot. So, I think, if it's over the counter, it's safe, it's going to give you some kind of an edge, take it. You know what I mean? That's my thoughts on it. Quasi, what's up, Quasi? I'm not gonna try to say your last name. I'm gonna say your last name. Amaya. You African. You somewhere from the motherland with that name, Quasi. Okay, so we got what would your advice be for someone who has a shoulder imbalance, like in a neutral position, one shoulder is higher than the other? So again, I'm not a physiotherapist or a chiropractor, or a massage therapist, though. Like everyone's off a little bit. My shoulders and clavicles are off. I've been injured a few times, so I have a natural kind of like lean on one side. My hip is off a couple degrees this way and that. So when it comes to the imbalance of, like, if it's like, are you saying it sits higher than the other one, imbalance into the shoulders? I mean, when it's sitting higher, it's something you kind of got to naturally, or you got to just be, aware of and try your best to balance it out. But like literally when it comes to those kind of things, I would go to a physiotherapist, I was thinking massage therapist, deep tissue massage, or chiropractor, really, to see what the imbalance is. I remember last time I went to this chiropractor, they had this really cool, it's the first time I've ever seen it. They had this scale that you stepped on that would measure each side. So when you it was almost like two separate scales that were together, but when you stepped on it, it would actually take the measurements or the weight of where it's misplaced. So the scale I stepped on, I would favor 180 pounds on one side. So, and then the rest, the remainder of my weight on the other side. So that just showed that there was a couple things off and whatnot. And a chiropractor can definitely help with that. I would, go to that. I'm glad you asked me the question, but I don't really have a solid answer I can give you because that's beyond my expertise. So I'm not gonna bullshit and say, hey, I would say maybe do some one arm shrugs on the other side and shit. You might be able to get it up. Do some unilateral shrugs. I don't know. Go see a professional that takes care of that stuff. Massage therapy, physiotherapy, chiropractor. So sorry I couldn't give you the answer, bro, but that would be my best advice. Simon Peterson. Do you see yourself ever becoming objectively successful as a pro bodybuilder, like finishing top 5 at the Arnold or the Olympia? That was a dream of mine when I was doing open, and then when I had my little taste this year of 212 and really seeing what I was going up against, I believe that I can make that. I can actually make that. I can reach that goal. I think I can be a top 5 Olympian in 212. When I just kind of measure myself up against the guys that are my size, that are, that are conditioned, you know what I mean? So I look at that, look overall at the guys that are going in, and I do believe I can for sure. And that's not one of those like, I dream and I hope one day that I can make it there. No, I literally believe just after this prep, being at where I was, and had I have actually did that show, and I ain't trying to be, I'm speaking the truth. I believe I would have 100% won that show. I would have. I'm sorry. No qualms to the winner of that show at all. But he was the best guy that showed up that day, and the best guy that could have showed up was sick in the hospital. So you'll see next year. Leave it at that. Will you ever be doing more recipe content for healthy, low-calorie meals? I really love your grilled cheese and protein sandwiches. It's amazing. And your normal egg white grilled cheese. That's from Digital Gold. That is something that's definitely on the go for sure, because literally when it's the off season, I'm going to be real with myself. I do not do good without structure. I'm not saying that I have to be doing a show or competing all the time, but I can say that if I don't have some kind of a structure, I am all over the place. So I try to make sure that I can keep things, relatively, low calorie dense and whatnot, to really, keep myself from getting too big, because it's really easy for me to get big. But yes, I will be, because I came up with some freaking sweet ones already. Some really, really good recipes. To be honest, it's funny. To be honest, like I have I would say, I think I've made about 6 different versions of that grilled cheese now. Actually. And I'll share that. I might just make a cookbook. I'll make the ultimate grilled cheese cookbook. 50 different ways you can make grilled cheese. Low calorie dense foods. Literally, I think I might do that. But honestly, I made a bunch of different types. There's a bunch of ones I make because honestly, I'm a functional pothead here. And, when you start thinking about things, this is how it all started, to be honest. I couldn't afford shit when I first started bodybuilding and before. But somehow I could still afford weed. And when I would be, I get, pretty high or whatever. And I'm like, there's nothing really around the house to eat because groceries is low. I would literally be like, I would come up with some kind of almost a genius idea of a meal with whatever I had, and it worked. So that's what kind of gave me the creativity in making different foods. So when it came to me bodybuilding, I was like, how can we make this really easy meal, this boring ass meal, into something delicious? And that kind of transitioned over. So yes. So the short answer for that is yes, I will be. I got to get back in that food, man. Chef Boris Shreve's got to come back out again, man. He was doing pretty good for a minute there. From SS90, do you think someone with a heavy manual labor job should eat and train differently than people with for example, a desk office job? If so, what would you say would be the difference in training, workout, routine, etc.? Well, so 100%, because you got to understand, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis is going to be extremely higher than someone who's got a sedentary job sitting down, at the desk all day long. So, how it would change would basically be how much time am I spending in the gym? And it'll be based on a job. So if I'm doing if I'm doing a job where I'm really lifting a lot, if I'm lifting a ton of stuff, I would put a lot of the training differences would be, I would have a lot more functional movements in the training plan that would complement that person's everyday job. So when it comes to labor, I even thought this honestly before, was actually making a labor program, because I see so many guys that are in labor jobs, and they're lifting things just like they got this crazy like brute strength from just lifting so much all the time, and their form is just like, what the y'all just gonna, you guys need a first class ticket right to physio, like like actually. So when it comes to the actual training plan, and this is probably an answer you're not even thinking about getting, but I would I would make sure the training plan complemented what they do every day, so it would strengthen their everyday moves. Because if you are lifting more efficiently, effectively, you're that much more efficient at work and that much further away from being injured. Number one. Two, when it comes to the overall amount of like energy put out, like the plan, like I wouldn't have you in the gym as long as it would someone who's basically sitting down all day long. So like say the person who's at a desk job, they might want to do, they might do cardio in the morning and then go back. They might do cardio before they go to work and then go back at nighttime and work out, or vice versa. I would just have no cardio, literally at all, and then I'd cut the workout down to at least like make it like 45 minutes to an hour tops, because you're spending the whole day literally doing hard labor. So that's how I would change certain things again. So number one, like if for all you guys out there who are laborers, I would really think of your training as something that complements or would strengthen your everyday laboring job, right? So that's the difference I would say in training, that makes any sense. I think I answered those questions. Alpha says, key commander, is it okay if you are not sore the other day next day after working out? Yes, you're not supposed, like, soreness isn't your end all be all telltale sign to if you trained really hard. Like when you get back to the gym, you've taken some time off. Some people coming off of the cove and whatnot, and that first day, shoot, my legs are killing me. Like the day I went and trained with Mike, literally at Pure Muscle Fitness, I was sore. I haven't been able to train hard for like, I would say, weeks. And then that day I was like, man, my legs, not even that day, but literally it took me, I would say 4 or 5 days before my legs felt normal again. And I've trained my legs since then and they have not hurt. Does that mean that my training was inefficient? No, it just means that my body's adapted to that first, stimulus of like, oh, look, you're training again, wake up. And you get that, that delayed onset of muscle soreness. And there's no real way to really understand why that even happens. But no, as long as you're pushing your ass off of the gym, again, like making sure your sets and reps and everything else is in a line and your effort is max, you can put in a maximal effort in there, you're doing the work. You don't wait to be like, I'm not sore, man, it sucks, oh shit. Now if you're sore all the time, that could be a telltale sign that you're not recovering quick enough, right? So if you're training and all of a sudden, you've been training for weeks and you're still always sore, there's something that's missing in the recovery process. So look at that. But again, if you're not sore all the time after you work out, it doesn't mean that you didn't have a good workout or your workout was shit. It just means your body's adapted to moving to that stimulus. Chris Dadula. It's what it says, kind of. I don't know. After shoulder bursitis and impingement syndrome is getting back to completely normal activities and lifting weights like before achievable. Oh, and what are the things that someone should be careful of? So here, I can relate to all this shit because I have a over 10. What was it? 20. I was 20. Oh my god. I have an 18-year-old injury. Oh my god. I got an 18-year-old injury in my shoulder that has, healed from its original injury. And I have elbow bursitis and, I have all these effed up problems from past injuries. Have I been able to get back to 100%? No. My shoulder has not been 100% ever since. And I've done, physio, I've done everything you could think of. And it's something you have to manage. So when it comes to, are you going to get that back? You're not really ever going to get it 100% back again. But you can, do things to help aid Oh, we got to change the battery on this. This is pause this here. 2, 1. There you go. We're back. Did I move this thing a bit? I think I did. Trying to move this. Let's get this back like this. All right, we're good. Yeah, so it's never really came back to normal. So what I do is I make sure that I am covering all everything I can, every angle I can cover when it comes to, shoulder mobility. So a big thing, your biggest ally will be mobility. Mobility. All the injuries you have, they create scar tissue. They create, lack of, flexibility and mobility. Your biggest help will be continuously staying, in front of that injury in a sense of just mobility all the time. So I put some mobility stuff up. There's some mobility stuff in my ebook. Grab the ebook. Got to get some great information in there, guys, for you. So grab the ebook, and you take care of that way. So I hope I answered your question. So the other part of the question, what things you should be careful of doing is it's just literally not stretching, honestly. Don't overload the joint. Don't overload it too much. Again, when it comes to me doing shoulders, I don't get under a crazy load at all anymore. The shoulder is one of the things that are being used throughout the whole week when you're training. So as long as you're exhausting the muscle, fatiguing the shit out of it, you're good to go. And from Miguel Ortiz, when in your life did you decide bodybuilding was something you'd want to pursue? What helps keep you motivated? And I really enjoyed the message you gave in your It's Your Fault video. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, man. A lot of stuff I put out, guys, are things that I said to myself over and over and over again for my mental health. It's a way of me coaching up myself and coaching others, because I know that things that I feel when it comes to my mental health are things that other people are probably feeling themselves too. So I'm always trying to, that was my whole goal in the first place, was using this platform to be able to spread that word in a sense of mental health and whatnot throughout my bodybuilding journey. I never thought of myself bodybuilding at all. I literally was like one of those guys who was like, there was guys around here who, when I play football at the university, they're like, you should bodybuild, man. Why don't you bodybuild? I'm like bodybuilding, man. We're in banana hammock getting greased up, sitting on a stage. No, can't be kidding me. That ain't me. And then here I am. What got me to pursue bodybuilding was this never-ending, dying need or want or goal to be a professional athlete. I've wanted to be a professional athlete my entire life, and it was football to start. And then when football basically was done for me, I remember sitting on the sideline. Defense was out. It was the first game we've ever lost. It was the first, conference championship we've ever lost in like 20 years. And I'm sitting there like, I'm not ready. My semester was finishing the same time as my football season. So it was a fall semester. I was going to be done. So after the season was done, I was done school. And I'm like, what am I doing now? And I'm like, I'm not ready to just not be competitive anymore. So I just remember guys around here, some, local pros and whatnot, who were like, hey man, when you should bodybuild, blah, blah. So I literally called them up like, hey, when's the next show? Full disclosure, my two choices, were fighting, mixed martial arts, because I already had a background in that. And then my brother at the time was like an MMA analyst. He was on YouTube, MMA analyst back in the day. And he's like, yo, I wouldn't bother. You're 5'7" in a little bit, and you're going to have to cut down to 160 something, or fight guys that are 6 feet taller than you. And he's like, and there's no money. And this is just over 10 years ago. So I was like, whatever, I guess, it makes sense. So what's the next thing? I guess I'm going to bodybuild. Let's try this thing out. And I tried it out, and that's what got me. And what the motivation was basically this, I want to be a professional athlete. I've always in my head, and it's partly my mom and my dad's fault. Mostly my mom, her spiritual side, and her always saying, God's got a plan for you. God's got a plan for you. And in my head, I'm like, he's got some plans. There's got to be something. And in my head, the plan was for me to be a professional athlete. So I was like, hey man, if that's the plan, I'm sticking to it. I'm trying to be a professional athlete. So my motivation was to really, I wanted to become a professional athlete, and I wanted to get my pro card, and that was my way there, and I achieved it. And My motivation now literally is like swapped. It's my daughter. My daughter is my biggest motivator. I want to give her everything I've never had. That's my goal. I want to give her absolutely everything possible to mankind. And that motivates me a lot. But, secondly, what motivates me is having this platform now that's getting this kind of attraction, this positive attraction that I could put out more positivity. And then it's bringing in more eyes to me when it comes to me actually competing again. So competing this year, the road to competing was so motivating because I had this unbelievable support system of very positive, subscribers, fans, you want to call it. And it was enlightening to see, I was like, man, for the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm going off the war with a bunch of soldiers here, positive soldiers behind me, rooting for me, motivating and encouraging and whatnot. So, I just something in me, I think it's a lot of nature and nurture. As well as genetic. I feel like, you either have this, want and drive in you to want to be something great, and maybe if you don't reach greatness to whatever level that might be, you're always striving to be better and better and better. Then on the way to that, you end up achieving those things. And I find that's how I've always been. And that's the thing that's kind of kept me going, is just I want to, God's got a plan. I want to do something with my life that's greater than just, being a professional athlete, stepping on stage and whatnot. I want to do something great while I'm on this planet. I already did. I made a sweet daughter. So, check. Yeah. Next, so, that's what motivates me right now from that. So, let me see. Rear delt, say some Sebastian Leaf, rear delt on push day or pull day. Could you give good advice how to perform the movement and what to do and what you think of doing it? I'm thinking rear delts on push day or pull day. I would do rear delts on pull days because it's in the rear and it kind of makes sense. And I'm thinking just cable or dumbbell lying, chest support, flies, which will give you a lot more emphasis on your delt without, any kind of hyperextension or momentum swinging, using the cables well too. And I remember too, guys, when it comes to doing delts, you want to make sure that your hands stay here, at that delt level when you're pulling back. Most of the time it ends up being pulled back and down, and you end up using your back to, activate the muscle and whatnot. So, that's what I would do. You could put them on a pull day, on a push day too as well. But I think sometimes the best option would be to put them on a pull day. If that makes sense. Anyway, that's it, guys. I'm going to do more of this. I'm going to finish these off. I said that the last time I did one of these, you guys take your time, man. You're going too fast with these videos, with these question answers. So I thought I would, take my time with this and do it this kind of style, because that's how it's going to be from now on when it comes to Q&As. Also, we'll be getting a podcast going as well too. So write in the comments below who you would want me to be interviewing, things you want to hear and say. I have in mind what I want to do, because I want to have this as being one of those very vulnerable, podcasts where we just talk about real shit. You know what I mean? Where you guys can relate. You know what I mean? You guys see a lot of us as I used to see bodybuilders as larger than life. I used to see athletes, pro athletes and whatnot, larger than life. Nothing could faze these guys at all. And then, once you realize that they're just normal human beings, it gives you more drive yourself to know that, this person struggles just like I do. This person laughs at the same things I laugh at or whatever. So I want to make this something that's very, very vulnerable, very open, very honest, very transparent. And, we're going to get some people on here. I've made some contacts already, but, if you guys want to see somebody special on here that you guys want to see interviewed or whatever, let me know, comment below. And hope you guys liked the video, guys. If you did, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. I'm going to come with that tell like it is, transparent, vulnerable truth, guys. And guys, grab my ebook at jonni.shreve.com. The ultimate push-pull legs training ebook is out right now at jonni.shreve.com. Also, book yourself a phone consult. If you want to know what my coaching is all about, whether it's a one-time plan or recurring plan, at the end of that phone consult, I'll give you a discount. At the end of the phone consult, guys, I will deduct the phone consult off any package you pick except for the ebook. I might, and guys, use my code Johnny15 for 50% off the Power 13 cookbook. Use my other code Johnny for 50% off fitarmy.com, and use my other one, Johnny30, for let's get checked. Let's get checked, guys. If you want to, guys, girls, circles, you want to know what's going on in your body first, what you need to know. You guys want to look really good on the outside, but we got to make sure we're looking really good on the inside as well too, so guys. So make sure you use my code Johnny13 for Johnny30 for 30% off. Let's get checked. Also, guys, make sure you guys send me some training clips, some foodie pics, some video clips you train, whatever it is. I will repost it for you guys, because you know how it is. Iron sharpens iron. Progressive overload your life. In the meantime, keep dream chasing. Peace.